Recorded Books and RB Digital present The Art of Dreaming by Carlos Castaneda. Narrated by Luis Moreno. Author's Note. Over the past 20 years, I have written a series of books about my apprenticeship with a Mexican Yaqui Indian sorcerer, Don Juan Matus. I have explained in those books that he taught me sorcery, but not as we understand sorcery in the context of our daily world, the use of supernatural powers over others, or the calling of spirits through charms, spells, or rituals to produce supernatural effects. For Don Juan, sorcery was the act of embodying some specialized theoretical and practical premises about the nature and role of perception in molding the universe around us. Following Don Juan's suggestion, I have refrained from using shamanism, a category proper to anthropology, to classify his knowledge. I've called it all along what he himself called it, sorcery. On examination, however, I realized that calling it sorcery obscures even more the already obscure phenomena he presented to me in his teachings. In anthropological works, shamanism is described as a belief system of some native people of northern Asia, prevailing also among certain native North American Indian tribes, which maintains that an unseen world of ancestral spiritual forces, good and evil, is pervasive around us, and that these spiritual forces can be summoned or controlled through the acts of practitioners who are the intermediaries between the natural and supernatural realms. Don Juan was indeed an intermediary between the natural world of everyday life and an unseen world, which he called not the supernatural, but the second attention. His role as a teacher was to make this configuration accessible to me. I've described in my previous work his teaching methods to this effect, as well as the sorcery arts he made me practice, the most important of which is called the art of dreaming. Don Juan contended that our world, which we believe to be unique and absolute, is only one in a cluster of consecutive worlds, arranged like the layers of an onion. He asserted that even though we have been energetically conditioned to perceive solely our world, we still have the capability of entering into those other realms, which are as real, unique, absolute, and engulfing as our own world is. Don Juan explained to me that for us to perceive those other realms, not only do we have to covet them, but we need to have sufficient energy to seize them. Their existence is constant and independent of our awareness, he said, but their inaccessibility is entirely a consequence of our energetic conditioning. In other words, simply and solely because of that conditioning, we are compelled to assume that the world of daily life is the one and only possible world. Believing that our energetic conditioning is correctable, Don Juan stated that sorcerers of ancient times developed a set of practices designed to recondition our energetic capabilities to perceive. They called this set of practices the art of dreaming. With the perspective time gives, I now realize that the most fitting statement Don Juan made about dreaming was to call it the gateway to infinity. I remarked at the time he said it that the metaphor had no meaning to me. Let's then do away with metaphors, he conceded. Let's say that dreaming is the sorcerer's practical way of putting ordinary dreams to use. But how can ordinary dreams be put to use?
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.